Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Naomi, and let's dream about beauty. Today I have a video for you where I put my makeup on and I tell you stories so that you can get to know a little bit more about me and some funny stories about my wedding, some vacations I've been on, just some random goofy stories. So if that's something that you might be interested in, where you want to laugh a little bit and see me be silly, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to start with my primer. So in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, tell you some funny stories, and try to do my makeup. So I'm from Canada, Western Canada. I've lived my whole life in Western Canada, born and raised. I haven't traveled a lot overseas, but I've been through lots of places in Canada, lots of places in the United States, and I've been to quite a few sort of southern destinations like Mexico and Cuba, Panama, been to Hawaii, Jamaica, some of those sorts of places. I used to teach, and I don't teach anymore. I haven't been working outside of the home for several years now, and the biggest reason is because I was a mother to 8 kids. When I first met my husband, I had 3 of my own and he had 5, so we are actually the Brady Bunch. We blended our families together, and there were 2 teenagers and then 6 kids under the age of 10. So that was challenging, and I decided to stop working because I needed to focus on raising a large family. So I'll just interrupt myself to say that I'm going to, so I have 3 different, oh, I'm not in the middle. Sorry about my camera again. What's new? So I actually have 3 different shades of this Stay Naked, and it's kind of crazy because both the 31NN and the 40NN are a little bit too cool for me and a little bit too light for me. And then so I bought the 51 warm yellow, and it's too dark and too warm, but I mix them together and then I get a pretty good shade. So I do 1 pump of that. Sorry, I can't talk about something when I'm doing this. And then I do 1 pump of that. And then I do 2 pumps of that. And this is what I get. Then I use this little tool that I have and I mix it up. And I don't mind putting the money into having, 3 different foundations, because actually I like being able to blend foundations together. And I watched Angie from Hot and Flashly do this yesterday. She did a tutorial, and yeah, she was funny because she's like, she used her face to wipe off her. She's like, I'm gonna wipe it off on my face. So I'm just going to do this. So my husband's name is Greg. I met him in 2009, so I have been living here in this house since 2009 and parenting this large family. So you'll have to let me know if you're interested in a video on parenting tips. Ooh, I look so great right now. Because, yeah, between several years of teaching junior kindergarten, and I just broke my fingernail. The middle one. Pulled it right off. Oh, and I broke this one too. When I'm done this, I'm off to go and get my nails done. Because the exciting thing is I'm going to Las Vegas on Saturday. I was supposed to go with my husband, but unfortunately work is taking a priority. So I have chosen to go with my daughter because the trip was already booked and I wanted to go with somebody. So, and her birthday is coming up very soon, her 18th birthday. So I thought it would be fun for her to fill in. We'll go there and do some shopping, hang out. Maybe it'll be warm enough for at least a couple days of sitting by the pool. I mean, we've been in freezing cold weather for, you know, several months now, so even if it's not warm enough for the Las Vegas people to sit by the pool, it might be warm enough for us to sit by the pool. Anyhow, so yeah, she was only 7 when we moved in here, so you know, the kids are really close with each other, and we've been a family for quite a few years, and the older teenagers are now adults and they are on their own, and my oldest is almost 20 and he lives in British Columbia, and so yeah, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel where we're going to be almost, I mean, you're never done with your children, right? But maybe the time will come up that we can do some traveling and see the world a bit. So yeah, so that foundation looks pretty good. It actually, I wore it yesterday and it held up pretty good, and I was a bit shiny, but it didn't break down or fall apart. This isn't a first impression with the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation, but it is, I haven't been able to wear it successfully before because I just got the darker color to be able to mix it up. Oh, and I have a rash on my neck here, so if it looks funny, that's what's going on. I got some cream on it. Okay. So in December of 2016, we took a trip to Puerto Vallarta with Greg's parents, and he proposed to me there. It was very romantic and very sweet. I was very surprised. And then the following year, in December of 2017, we planned our wedding in Maui. We got Maui'd in Maui. So I have a funny story to tell you about that. But first of all, I need to concentrate on what I'm doing here because this is kind of difficult to do. Well, it's not difficult, it's just, yeah, you know. So, so it was myself, Greg, the 8 kids, and our oldest son's girlfriend was there, plus my parents, my sister and her family, and Greg's parents were all there. And this was in December of 2017, and we went to stay in, I'll insert a picture of the chapel where we got married. It was just beautiful. It was the Grand Wailea something, I don't remember what it's called, but I'll post a picture. It was at a resort. It was so beautiful, but we rented a nice large house, and that's where we all stayed. And then my family and friends put together a beautiful dinner for us afterwards. But the funny story is so in the morning, a limousine came and picked myself and all of my, well, I didn't have any bridesmaids, but my daughter and my niece and everyone who was coming with sort of the girls' party. And we went to the resort and we spent the day getting my hair done, makeup done, blah, blah, blah. And little did I know that Greg when he went to go get his tuxedo on, he had no pants. Where were his pants, I hear you ask? Well, he looked high and low, and yeah, there were no pants. No pants. Greg, no pants. Of course, I had no idea that all this was going on. So he's like, all right, everyone, stop. I've got no pants. So change of plan. He had to go and get pants. So between one thing and another, all the stuff they were supposed to bring, half the stuff got left, including all the shoes. So, and our wedding party was just composed of our kids. So they ended up going barefoot because half of them, the girls, didn't have shoes. So that was all right. It was cute. And, whoops, I'm not supposed to do that. So then, so Greg went, and of course, I mean, it's a good thing that he knows Maui pretty good, and we were staying in Lahaina, and he was able to find a shop, bought some black pants, slacks, you know, like dress pants. Well, I don't know why I'm pulling my eyeshadow out because I don't need to use that yet. Let's do concealer next. So yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm not better at telling these stories. So he goes and buys pants, and because we have such a big, you know, such a big group, we've got like 3 or 4 different rental cars. So people are here, people are there. He's got a rental car. He drives to the resort, and so he has to find a public bathroom. I'm like, what are you? Who are you? Superman? You have to change in a public bathroom for your wedding? So he's changing into his tuxedo in the bathroom stall in a public bathroom. Oh my God. And then it was about 10 miles walking from the room where I was getting ready to where the chapel was. And so by the time I got there, I was sweaty, and I had no idea that he had no pants. So I told him, I said it would have been pretty funny if he would have just wore some, you know, some Bermuda shorts and had, you know, your tuxedo jacket and shirt and your tie on, and then these boarding shorts would have been like, what the heck? I would have been like, what is going on here? But anyhow, I had no idea any of this had happened. And I just thought it was so funny that he had to change and get ready. I'm like, and his favorite superhero is Superman because he says he likes to be a hero. So the fact that he had to do a quick change in the bathroom that's so, you know, like what Superman would do. So anyhow, I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, that's, and then, so I showed up, you know, the whole procession was beautiful. The kids walked down this long, you know, like sidewalk through these beautiful flower beds and down the stairs and into the chapel one by one. And then I came last, and Greg was waiting there in the chapel. It's just, I'll insert some pictures here because it's so beautiful. They're like, Greg had seen the chapel a long time ago, and he had said that if he ever remarried, that is where he would like to get married, and that's what we did. Anyhow, so I'm pretty sure my husband's name is Greg. I mean, that's what I've called him all this time. Gregory is Greg. And so, you know, I walked down the aisle, and the officiant is standing there, and he looks very Hawaiian in his tour, not tourist, he's not a tourist, he lives there, but he's wearing clothes that would be appropriate for a Hawaiian wedding, you know, khaki pants and this, you know, white sort of just casual shirt, and he, you know, we go up, and Greg's crying and I'm crying, and we clasp hands at the front of the chapel, and the officiant says, and here we have Naomi and Daniel, who are going to, I'm like, wait, what? Who's Daniel? I don't know any Daniel. I'm like, psst, it's Gregory. He's like, oh, here we have Naomi and Greg. We're ready to say their vows to each other. And so, of course, it was kind of funny because it sort of, well, I mean, in some ways it broke the, you know, like, because everyone's laughing. Naomi and Daniel. So now it's 2020 and this was December 2017. I still call him Daniel sometimes. Daniel! It's like, what? Yeah, so that was pretty funny. Like, wait, what? Who's Daniel? I don't know any Daniel. I don't want to marry Daniel. Anyhow, that was pretty funny. And then the limousine ride back was crazy because I haven't ridden in a limousine very often. I was pretty excited about the limousine ride. And so we had about an hour to kill while we just, you know, stayed at the resort and had a couple drinks and sat in a lounge and, you know, did all those crazy things that brand new married people do, like gaze into each other's eyes lovingly while we wait for the limousine. So the limousine shows up and this guy gets out and he looks like he was just selling drinks at a fruit shack about an hour before that. And he looks like he's been living the surfer life for years and years and years. And we find out it's his first day on the job. And they were supposed to have some champagne for us and it wasn't in there. So we had to make a quick stop while he ran in to get some champagne. So that was all right. Anyhow, it was kind of funny. And then when we got to the house where we were renting, he accidentally drove over the mailbox. So he's like, please don't tell my boss I just did that. So I guess now I've told. So the secret is out. Okay, what should we do next? Let's do, oh wait, I didn't bring a bronzer. Okay. Oh, I guess I can use this bronzer that is in my Smashbox palette. So then we went back to the house and we had just the most beautiful evening. But unfortunately, by the time it was all said and done, I was so exhausted that I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed. It was an early night for the bride. But the meal was just beautiful and we went around and everyone did toasts and I talked, you know, we all had a turn to say something and you know, it was a night I will always remember. It was just something that, you know, a dream come true. So yeah, that's my crazy wedding story. And then, so yeah, like I said, on Saturday, my daughter and I are headed to Vegas. I've been to Vegas like many, many times, and we went last summer and took the kids, so 4 kids. We have 4 living in the house with us now, so there's an almost 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 15-year-old. Girl, boy, boy, boy. But my youngest son, who is 16, wasn't with us when we went to Vegas last year. He went to Vancouver Island to visit his friend. So it was just myself and Greg and the 3 kids, and we flew down. And then, and it was so funny because, so we were gonna, I don't know, there was something that Kennedy, my daughter, had seen on TikTok or on something. It was some restaurant or something that she was dying to go to. So we, holy mackerel. That is so pigmented. This NYX Sweet Cheek palette. Good thing I bounced it out on my, oh, see? That is bright. So we drove to Planet Hollywood, and we have a player's card for Caesar Resorts. We have a diamond card, and we don't have it because of gambling or spending. We have it because of my husband is a competitive pool player, and we were there for a pool tournament a few years ago. So he has this diamond card, and I was telling him we're looking for a parking spot. I'm like, well, you can get free valet parking. He's like, no, you can't. I said, yeah, with your diamond card, you can get free valet parking. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, no, you can. So of course, and the kids have never valet parked anything. They have never done anything like that. So we pull up and they're like, he hands him a card. Oh, hello, Mr. Cairns. Oh, hello. You know, blah, blah, blah. And we felt very special that they took our car and parked it for us. The kids were really impressed that we had a diamond card. And then that was the joke for the rest of the trip. So then we drove from Las Vegas to Los Angeles so we could go to Disneyland. And before I finish telling the story, I need to figure out what I'm doing next. Oh, okay. So we're gonna do highlight next, and I'm gonna use Madison Miller Offra. Yeah, that's what it's called. The Offra. Ooh, wowzers, that's pretty. That's like intense blinding. So we drove our rental car from Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and of course Greg is enjoying the interstate because he's like, speed limit, what speed limit? So he's driving along and we get pulled over by a Nevada state trooper who proceeds to write a speeding ticket for Greg. And he was a pretty good looking, cute state trooper, so Kennedy and I were laughing at each other because Kennedy's like, ooh. And then my son says, well, Dad, why didn't you use your diamond card? It's like, hi, I have a diamond card. I don't need a speeding ticket today. And that was the joke for the rest of the trip was, you know, when we bought fast passes at Disneyland and walked past everyone, we're like, we have a diamond card. Let us through. Let us get past. We have a diamond card. So that was pretty funny. You know, it's funny because when you're on a trip, I always think like when I was on family trips with my family when I was a kid, it was always like Griswold's. And it feels that way even when we're on a trip, like, you know, you're in a hotel room and there's people everywhere and snoring and you can't sleep and the bed's uncomfortable and you think, why am I doing this? Like, why are we spending money to be here? But then there's the special times that you remember when you get to spend time with your kids that you maybe don't normally do, and then you realize what special people your children are and how funny they are and how enjoyable they are to spend time with. And it was awesome being in Las Vegas. I mean, it was in July, or well, this was end of July. It was smoking hot. Like, I said to my kids, you don't know what 45 degrees Celsius feels like, but you're gonna find out. And it was like hot, but so they would go out at 3 in the morning and swim when it was nice out. And it was just so great to see them having such a good time and enjoying themselves. I really enjoyed it. So, I think I'm just going to powder my face next. I don't know if I've done that or not. I feel like I powdered, but I feel like I didn't powder my face. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows? Who knows? Because I don't. And I'm gonna calm down this highlight a bit. It is like, whoa. I'm sure that they can see it in the space station. I'm losing track of what I'm doing. Maybe I'll do my eyebrows next. How does that sound? Yes. I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna say next and do my eyebrows. Okay, so I got my eyebrows done and I did some eyeshadow primer too. And today I'm going to use the going coconuts that I just got. See what I think of it. See if it's maybe something I want to take to Vegas with me. Hey baby, let's go to Vegas. So, it was actually my daughter who got me into watching makeup YouTube videos. I watched Jaclyn Hill years and years and years and years and years ago, like ages ago. She was the first person I'd ever watched, and then I started watching others like Stephanie Nicole, Stephanie Lang, Angie from Hot and Flashy. Who else did I start watching? I feel like those were the main ones. And then slowly over time I just subscribed to more and more people and started watching more and more, and I've always had at the back of my mind that I'm like, oh, that's so cool, I'd love to do it, but it's taking me 2.5 years to build up the courage to start my own channel and start making my own videos. And like I said before, I suffer from depression and anxiety. It's fairly well controlled at the moment. The doctor gave me some new medication just before Christmas that seems to be helping a lot. But it's been, a rough couple of years, kind of up and down, roller coaster a bit, and being a stay-at-home mom too is, it's kind of sometimes it's hard to network and find people that you have things in common with. So it's been, my goal is not that I'm ever going to be a YouTube star, and I don't anticipate really ever making money from it. But it's exciting because, I can feel that there's a community here of people that I can start to get to know and become friends with, and connect with, and share our passion and joy and love for makeup, and that's really ultimately what my goal is. And maybe share a few tips along the way of maybe somebody somewhere will learn something about doing makeup, and that would make me happy. Because makeup is so transformative, and I think it's fun to play with. And I've always thought it was fun to play with. My earliest memories are, well, not earliest memories, but when I was little, my mom used to give me her old makeup, and I remember playing with my cousins, and we would do each other's makeup, and I loved doing that. Like, it was one of my favorite things to do, was we would do each other's makeup and kind of play, hair salon, beauty parlor type. And that was fun. I enjoyed it. And my mom always has worn makeup. She doesn't go anywhere without makeup on. I go places. I used to not go anywhere without makeup on. That was a long time ago, but now I usually only do my makeup if I'm actually like going somewhere. But if I'm just staying around the house, I don't put makeup on every day. Kind of have a neat story to tell you. Oops, not supposed to do that. So when I was 12 years old, my dad had to go away to Ontario to go to school, and I missed him a lot. And he said to me, I remember him writing me a letter and asking me, he wanted to buy me a present and mail it to me, and I was like, yeah, I would love, and I wanted a makeup kit. More than anything else in life, I wanted a makeup kit. And so he went to the Bay and he bought me a makeup kit. And I remember the letter that came in, he was giving me makeup advice. Where he basically said that, what he thought makeup was for, and to never forget that. He said, don't ever forget that you have natural beauty, and not to feel like you need makeup in order to be somebody special. Okay, so anyhow, I went to the post office every single day because I knew it was on the way, and I was so gosh darn excited to be receiving this palette. And I remember I loved it when I got it more than anything. It was so pretty. It had like lip glosses and eyeshadows and blush and a little mascara. It was awesome. But I didn't start really collecting makeup until I started watching makeup on YouTube, and then I really got into collecting it. And now it's my pride and joy. I just love my makeup collection a lot. I mean, I guess not everyone understands that, because why collect something that expires? But I guess if you've got the makeup bug, you got it, and if you don't, you don't. And if you understand, you understand, and if you don't understand, you don't understand, and that's fine. So, I'm curious if you guys saw on Instagram or anywhere that Billie Eilish revealed her body for the first time. As you know, she wears very oversized clothing. She's always talked about, one of the, things about like body shaming has been something that she talks about a lot, and being judged because of the way you look as opposed to, other things. And anyhow, so she said one thing while she was doing that, and because I read what she said, and she said, your opinions are not my responsibility. And I really loved that, because part of my anxiety makes me care too much about what people think, and I spend too much time worrying about it and dwelling on it and thinking about it. And I will go over a conversation that I had with somebody in my head, and I'll think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it, and worry and stress about, analyze it, like, what did that person mean? Why did they say that? Why did they say it in that way? Were they being nice? Are they being mean? Like, what were they saying? And I like the idea of thinking that your opinion is not my responsibility. So that's a new mantra, I suppose, that I'm going to tell myself, that your opinion of me is not my responsibility. And we'll see if that helps me stop stressing out about other people's opinions and what they think. Well, I think that this palette is pretty darn nice. It's got a lot of kick up in the pan, but it's blending out quite well. The colors look good. It looks pretty. Just wondering if I want to, let's take this color and just add it in here. Talking about being the Griswolds, I remember when we watched European Vacation, my dad laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, because that's how we used to travel. In a station wagon, everything was always crazy. My dad always had these like really ridiculous ideas. And so it was like when we went to Disneyland, we saw the entire park, went on every ride except the Matterhorn, which was closed. There was no California Adventure back then, but we went on every ride, saw every show, did everything in one day. And we would have 5 minutes to get from one side of the park to the other to see the next show, and we'd be running. He'd be in front, my brother following him, my other brother, then my sister, I'm next, and then my mom, and we're all running, and my mom's like, don't lose your dad, stay with your dad, and we're all running and trying to make it to the next show, and we'd show up just in the nick of time, see the next show, then go on a ride, and then it would be next show. Everything was scheduled to the minute, but we did get to see the entire park in one day because we didn't have enough money to afford more than one day. And it was so cute because when we watched European Vacation and they're outside the Louvre, they're like, we have 40,922 works of art to see in the next 3 hours, go! And the daughter collapses, and my dad was rolling on the floor laughing about that because that was exactly what it was like vacationing with him. Anyhow, funny story. I was talking about vacations a little bit, my Las Vegas vacation last summer, my upcoming Las Vegas vacation. So I love the idea of doing a vlog, but what I'm going to try and do is maybe do some kind of a get ready with me or something from where I'm not renting a hotel room, I'm renting a condo. So I'm hoping to maybe do something there. That would be fun. Oh, that looks pretty good. Pretty neutral, you know, sort of. I was gonna blow my palette again. Okay, I'll do it when you're not watching. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyeliner and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna get in the middle of the camera, and then I think my last step is my lipstick. So anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed this get ready with me. They're definitely fun to film. Like I said, I have some pretty interesting parenting tips, so if you're interested in a video where I talk about parenting tips, let me know. Even if you need them for nieces or nephews or somebody in your life. Well, there. Finished look. I suppose I should put some setting spray on, but I don't need to do that. Not right now. Anyways, yeah. So, oops, I forgot to put my mirror back. So anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed all of my goofy stories. And I hope you're gonna come back for more. So if you enjoyed this and you would like more goofy stories, then think about subscribing, hit the notification bell, and yeah, maybe click on the like button if you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, well, then don't click on the dislike button because I will have anxiety about it. Oh, I'm kidding. Well, I'm only mostly kidding. Anyhow, like I always say, time is our most precious commodity, and when you spend a little bit of yours with me, I think it's an amazing thing. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that you are having a great day or night, and I hope that you come back. Thanks, and take care.